Perfect.
Okay. Let me pin you guys. Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is gonna be very conversational.
Perfect.
We really loved your film. All the
Thank you
jurors
so
loved
much.
your film. They thought it was amazing for a high school. Like I can't imagine looking back at my high school films and having kind of, you had like a crazy production. Loved the props, every like all the thought that went into it.
Thank you.
And it just seemed like so much went into it for a high school film, and we really wanted to like give you so much a spotlight for that. I was just curious, how long have you two been working together, and sort of how did you guys meet?
Well, we go to the same school.
Yeah.
So we met freshman year. So we've been kind of making like small films together, like little comedies here and there for
Yeah.
a few years.
Mhm.
But this is our first like real big film together where we both devoted months to it.
Yeah.
Really sat down and went through the process, made a shot list. This is the
Yeah.
first, I guess, film that we've spent like nearly as much time on.
Yeah, like for the most part, we'd be doing like fun films with your friends that are kind of like, you don't really have a script for it. You kind of just think of a cool idea and try to execute it and have fun shooting it, and you don't spend too much time editing it. It's more about like the fun of it.
Experience,
Yeah, exactly.
working with your friends.
Exactly. But for this project, we really like buckled down and spent like hundreds of hours like getting everything as perfect as we can. So yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Have you guys always been high school friends? OG high school
Yeah,
friends?
basically,
Nice, nice. I have those too. Kevin, do you have the next one? Give it a go.
Yeah, well, how long did it take you to like what was it like how long was production wise for the film?
Well, I started writing this in November, and I gave it to him like late December, and he was giving me notes for about like a month.
Like yeah, and
Few weeks.
at that time we were also applying to colleges. So during the months of from let's say like I guess in the month of December we were kind of just like more focused on our college applications. But as soon as college applications finished, that's when we started revising it and
Really buckled down.
exactly.
And that's when a lot of work from like
Exactly.
January to like April, I guess to like June.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, seriously. So but so you asked about production, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that was like pre-production was like January, February, March,
Yeah.
right? And then production was during the month of April, maybe like 7 days of shooting, 8 days of shooting.
Didn't we start in March?
Oh yeah, we might have started at the end of March. And so from the end of March to the end of April, we kind of just shot whenever we could, whenever all the cast was available, and our like AD, who was like super helpful, and just all whenever everyone had the overlapping like free time, we used that to shoot, and that ended up being like 8 or 9 days, I think.
Yep.
Was this 2020 or 2021?
This past year.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's awesome.
Nice. So you guys known each other for quite some time. So what was I guess what's your like collaboration process? Like how do you guys find cast and crew?
So we've got a lot of friends who are like filmmakers, and they're all really great. That's how we were able to create something, I guess,
Seriously.
of this quality, because we were surrounded by people who were so good
And also
like
passionate about it.
Yeah, very passionate, willing to devote the time
Mhm.
and know what they're doing, and where we have shortcomings, they can pick us up. And
Yeah, Dash and I actually met in film class freshman year, and so and a lot of our friends also are in that film class, and we're lucky that we go to a school. It's called Crossroads for the Arts and Sciences, and so they have a big emphasis on arts, and so there's like a drama club, and so we have like a couple of the actors in the film are actually part of that, and so we were lucky to be surrounded by people who actually really enjoy the filmmaking process and wanted to be a part of it.
Right, and it's less of like us asking them to do favors for us, and more like, oh, they want to contribute. And when
Exactly.
people want to contribute, they really help you produce something, I guess, special.
Exactly, especially when they see how serious we were about it. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
I have like a more direct question for the both of you. I guess let's resort to, sorry, Jake. So you said you produced this film? Yeah, was this like your first time producing a short film, or was this like, I was just like, because as someone who's coming from creative producing, like I remember being so nervous about producing my short film and having like these people work for me for free, and like I just wanted to know what your like experience was like from pre-pro to post-production, and like
For
any
sure.
obstacles you faced and anything you've learned from that experience.
Yeah, it was just man, this was like for all the films that we had done in the past, they were much, much smaller and much more like fun. So there didn't even need to be like a producing role or anything like that. But for this film, it was just there was so much just things that needed to be organized and remembered and 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 honestly, my best friend was an Excel spreadsheet. And actually he was my best friend, but besides for Dash, it was the Excel spreadsheet.
And I just want to say, without him, it would have fallen apart. Like, he did so much work of like just organizing props, getting actors their dates, getting like their clothing, making sure they're wearing the right,
Yeah.
set. It's so many things that just like the movie would have fallen apart without him.
Yeah, like even things as small as like remembering to bring like an extension cord to set because there wasn't enough outlets to plug everything in. And so just like it's almost just like it's almost too hard to point to specific things, but it's just like so many small things that are required all the time, and obviously coordinating everything with all the actors and cast and crew and all that jazz. Yeah, is that how you would describe like your understanding of production?
Yeah, no, you're like, the parent of the film.
Exactly.
Like,
No, seriously,
That's a great way to
exactly.
describe it.
Exactly.
like you have to make sure these people are fed, you have to make sure these people are safe. Like you have a very important job, and like I always cherish co-producers because they're always like my second brain. So I applaud you for doing this,
Thank you.
producing the short film with so many pieces, and then added to that, it's just like it's like you and your Excel spreadsheet pretty much.
Yeah,
And,
seriously,
and
yeah.
you're like holding the fort while everything just tumbles a little bit.
Seriously, no, exactly.
Is
And
this is this something you'd like want to continue doing or try testing, or are you like there's no like right or wrong answer, but I'm just curious,
yeah,
like,
so I will say
directing and writing.
the part that I enjoy the most is definitely like the cinematography aspect. So like just focusing on like shot angles and composition and framing. That's what I love about filmmaking. The production side of things was more just like I just like I just as a person, I'm very much like I need things to be like, or like I needed things to be like I don't want to say perfectionist because that's a bit of a cliche, but just I wanted like everything to be like a I wanted to be I wanted to be really 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 rigorous about production, and so that's why I took on the producer role too, just because I wanted the film to be the best it could be.
Awesome. And plus, I mean, if you have like a DPI, I'm sure you can spot all the.
Exactly.
You're
Exactly.
coming from a crew and you're like, I know what I could do better as a producer.
Exactly.
I don't know. You have that
Exactly.
perk. And then
And,
yeah, go on.
and I was gonna say, and it also gives Dash the room to do his thing, and like there's no way he would have been able to direct as well if he would have had to manage all this nonsense.
Yeah.
so I needed to do that to let him do his thing.
There's a ton of nonsense. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, and then Dash, what you were the director writer, I'd say. But first short film, like the same, like any obstacle, like what was that like? What was it like working with Jake? You can say good thing. Nah, you can say anything you want, confess it all. But
we could do a separate interview without him.
Yeah.
But no, working with Jake, like you said, it's such a load off my back. There's so many small things that my brain just can't handle. That Jake is just so good at, and he's just not so good, but he just spends so much time working on it, which is amazing. And to make such a good film, you got to spend so much time. And it's like, again, like I said earlier, without him, the movie would have fallen apart, or it would have been just something not nearly as good. And you need someone you can really rely on, and I can rely on Jake, which is such. Like, I never have to worry about him. I know he's going to get his stuff done. Hopefully, you feel the same with me.
Of course. Yeah.
And it's like half the things that you usually have to worry about making a movie. Jake's working on it. I don't have to get that out of my mind and focus on half the part that I can actually control.
Yeah. How is it like? Did you work with non-actors or actors or paid actors?
Yeah. So,
no, you take this.
the little girl in the movie was Jake's sister.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I couldn't scream at her that much. Um, kidding. But yeah, that was interesting because you had to, I guess, put your notes in a very like friendly way and make sure you're not critiquing them too much but still getting the I guess emotions you want. So that, and then most of the actors we're working with either were, used to do it or took acting classes, or like Jake said, we're in a drama club.
Yeah,
so the only one was really Jake's sister, she was great though. She was fantastic. And anything I said to her, she learned really fast, and she's great at taking notes. And so working with her was great.
Oh, oops, sorry. I was like talking midway through. What was like the biggest learning curve? Because I don't know. When I went to Columbia the first year, I took directing for actors. Kevin even took directing for actors at Rutgers. It's like
Awesome.
it's a huge it's pretty it's harder than it seems. I don't come from an acting background. I'm curious like what your technique is when you're like talking to these, like what's your style or what's your way about talking to these actors when they're just not getting something right?
Well, that stuff usually I like to keep it simple, because I let just I keep it simple. This is the emotion you're trying to do. This is what you're trying to accomplish in this scene, and because I guess that's how I'm a horrible actor, but if I was acting, that's how I'd like that's how I would like to, I guess, be directed. Like, this is the emotion you're supposed to have. This is what you're trying to do. Go ahead. I feel like if you're giving too many directions, kind of complicates things, and maybe you get something you don't really want. But if the actor is, in my opinion, like if they're not giving you what you want, sometimes I go like a little bit more in depth, but usually I try to avoid that. But yeah.
I will say that all the actors like were Dash is such a collaborative person, and they're all raving about how wonderful it is to be directed by him because he seriously he wants the actors to try different things, and he wants them to he gives them the room to, like, if you haven't, I remember he said to an actor one time, he's like if or he gave a specific direction to the father, and the father was like, hey, I have an idea for something else. And while another director might have been like, no, my vision is this, Dash was like, okay, let's see, give it your best shot, we'll try it. And then the actor, he had an enormous smile on his face, right? And then we say, okay, action, and what was there was amazing, and that was a result of him being so collaborative.
Thanks. Yeah, I love when, like, if actors can improv. Usually it's better than my stuff. I'm not writing like Tarantino here, so I love when actors improv, and usually it's better than the stuff I've written. So I think that's great.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's really interesting how their directors really navigate the space a bit. It's crazy to see how sometimes it just works in their own ways, and then when I try to replicate it, it's like totally not happening. But no, I'm glad you guys, you both really work together so well.
Yeah, and me too, because going into this, I was actually scared that spending so much time and working with such a close friend would affect our relationship, and but it totally didn't. Like, not only like we didn't even have to like separate our friendship from the actual work, because we met in film class, we both loved it, and luckily we collaborated so well, so it honestly made us even closer. Which was awesome.
17, 16 hour every day together for 5 days, 6 days a week.
It was crazy. During school, we'd be in school together all day, and then we'd come home and edit for 6 to 8 hours. It was it was like having for a solid month there. After we had gotten our college, after we had gotten our college, what do you call it, not results, but after we had gotten our acceptances back and stuff, and we were into school, that was all we spent our free time doing, was editing together.
And then when we were so focused on editing, we'd call people over here to have fun and have a party. So we'd
exactly.
At the end of the night, we'd call people over here and just have fun with them. Then we'd go back, get into it the next day, or sleep over, then the next day.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
Exactly.
Hey, that's a rare thing, and you guys got something. I was like me and Kevin when we met in Rutgers, and we were friends since. So it's like a very
that's
big,
awesome, and to see you guys here now.
You guys meet in film class or studies?
Rutgers, yeah, Rutgers in the film program.
Oh, cool, sick.
Awesome.
Yeah, coincidentally, we live in the same town, but we never really knew each other before then until. So yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, no, yeah, those are something very special. So I hope you
Agreed.
guys stay in touch even during college.
I hope
'cause
so
Well,
too. Yeah.
You guys will. Jake will make sure of that
I
as the
will,
producer.
yeah.
oh no, for sure. Like, well, one of my big worries about going to Boston College is not finding, like, it doesn't have a like a good film program. So finding the people, like talented people like Jake, you know, who can help make a good movie. As you guys know, it's such a collaborative process. You need so many good people around you to even make something decent. So I'm definitely, you know, coming back to LA and making some more with him soon.
Indeed.
Let's go. Yeah, Kevin, sorry, I like stole the
Oh no,
spotlight
you're
with
all
all the
good.
questions, but yeah,
Um,
go for it if you.
yeah, well, so what influenced you to create Between the Lines? Like any director influences or cinematography influences?
Do you want to hear?
You could
Okay. Well, I can't speak about the writing so much because Dash was the like basically like my involvement in the actual story was like helping like revise it and maybe bring out like a little bit more pizzazz from what he had already written.
He's being modest, but
And certain places, but the stories that's his department, and I'm actually curious to hear like what influences there were there. But as far as the cinematography goes, I mean, when you're working with like such a like when like this was enormous for us and for a high school film, but relatively speaking, it's not like we could do exactly what we wanted for each shot, or we had access to like elaborate lighting equipment and even our location, it was unideal in a lot of ways. And so as far as the cinematography goes, like we had our shot list there that we spent a lot of time working on beforehand to make sure that we were prepared and we could use our days that we had the house efficiently. But when we got there and we had to make adjustments, it's kind of just like both of us brainstorming in the moment what would look the best, what tells a story in the best way. Like we had certain like rules for the film that we kind of would follow, like the amount of shaking in the handheld camera movement was pretty correlated with how intense a scene was. It's a very simple thing, but when we had to come up with a new shot on the spot, we could use that kind of rule for the film to kind of help guide us. So yeah. So what about the writing?
So I guess my initial idea came from English class, and we were talking about the roots of horror and horror stories, and one of them was childhood. Because we talked about how childhood was such like a scary place because you're helpless and powerless, and that really connected with me because I was very scared as a child. Saw the Babadook in 5th grade and had nightmares for years, still do once in a while. But yeah, I really love the idea of like as a child, you're helpless, you can't control these things, what you eat, where you go, who your parents are. I think that's a great essence of a horror story. That's where I guess it started from. The writing, then it just took off from there with telling an interesting story to do that with interesting characters you want to root for. And then with the directing, I don't really think I have a style. I was just trying to make it like as invisible as possible. So, and then also some shots I like to accentuate a little bit. So if you're the way I like to do it, like if you're invisible for the whole movie and then suddenly for a few shots you really make it apparent what you're doing, it really, I guess, emphasizes those shots. But really when I'm directing, I just try to make it like, oh, this is a cool shot, this is another cool shot, these two will cut together well. I don't really have like some grand plan.
You know, for sure. So going back to what Jake said about just like, and this kind of goes with the writing also, but like for the, because like filmmaking, there's a lot of like on the spot changes that you like. I would say like a lot of things, like me personally, when I've like done stuff, like a lot of changes I've like made like on day of, and it just like is suddenly like like the idea I had originally just seems like such a bad idea in retrospect. So going off of like that idea, what would you like? Yeah, I guess like how much of like, you know, the writing process and how much of has things changed like day of from like, you know, actor suggestions and other factors like that.
You're talking about the like the writings, like the dialogue, or like the what type, or like the way, like what are you talking about, a specific aspect, or about like changes in general, like any type of changes?
Just in general.
I think that some of our actors really liked improving the dialogue, and Dash as a director was like, great, let's do it. And those were honestly some of our best lines in the movie, where actors went crazy doing improv, but then some actors weren't comfortable doing that, and so then they stuck pretty much by the book, and
And I'd say because me, especially Jake, we planned this out so much, and every detail. Usually, when I'm making high school films, a lot changes, but because I suppose especially Jake, every detail we really mapped out. There wasn't too much, I don't think, besides like the dialogue or an actor doing this or someone being late, and then we're like, all right, okay, let's brush the scene. We can't do these shots.
Exactly.
Oh, there was a scene.
Oh,
where
yes, yeah,
it was about 5 a.m. The sun was about to come up, and we've been filming all night. And this was the last day we could have filmed this. And
we had another night exterior to do, or a night interior, yeah.
So we had about 45 minutes before the sun came up.
Racing against time.
And Jake was like, okay, we had a huge shot list.
It was like 16 shots. It was
Jake was like, okay, we're not doing this. We're gonna do like these 4 shots, and then let's run it really quickly. First take. So that scene was changed a whole bunch, but
yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, thanks for remembering, because that I think is what you're talking about, Kevin, where like we threw out everything we had. Everything was literally out the window. Dash wasn't even in the room when it was
I was moving props outside because it's 5 a.m. All the people left, our AD, our second camera, everyone. It was just me, Jake, and 2 actors. So I was moving like leaves outside. Jake was like, okay, get in position, setting up the camera.
It was intense, and yeah.
No, that's the whole animal of filmmaking. I feel it's just like those on the spot, like you're pressed for time, and you just try to think about what's the best thing you can do in that moment, and just kind of adapt.
Yeah, those are really like the make or break moments, and we only survived that scene because we planned everything else out so well. Like we didn't have the other elements planned out. Like we knew didn't know the characters inside out, what needed to be accomplished that scene, what the essential elements were, and what could be cut out. The scene would have fallen apart.
Yeah.
Cool. Emily, you want to tap in?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, oh my God. I hate night shoots. I hate overnight shoots. There's just so much happening. Crazy. And it seemed like you both were wearing the first assistant directing hats as well. Because I remember having to direct my own short film for the first time, and then my assistant director being like, you can't do 40 shots in one day. That is impossible. So I give you a round of applause for like straight up thinking on the spot and coming up with the solution, because prepping is a really important thing, and it sounds easier said than done. So
thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah. I will say that we like when luckily we actually did have an amazing assistant director, but we kept him with like during business hours, right? So 9 to 5 we had an amazing AD, and even during some night shoots, but during those during crunch time, like we couldn't ask him to not.
He's got stuff. He's got his own life. We can't ask him to spend all night, but we can prepare him for that originally. Because it went way over schedule. We're supposed to finish at like 10, 11 o'clock that night. Finished about 6:30.
Exactly. Yeah. So Liam, if you're watching this,
love you, man.
We love you. Yeah. Anyways,
someday he'll come back and
I wanted to
he'll be like, I need you guys again. Cool. So after everything you've done, all the success, you created a film. That's a success in its own way. You made it. Do you have any plans for the future, like college, festival runs, honestly, anything? Just let us know.
I mean, absolutely. I'm going to UCLA, and I'm going to minor in filmmaking. I'm going to hopefully be making films all 4 years. Hopefully I can make one good enough to do a festival run, and I think same thing with you, right?
Yeah, the goal is just to get better throughout college. It's really it's such a hard industry, and you always have to be improving. You're always competing with people your age. So I'm really hoping like the classes I take at Boston, I can really improve my writing and my storytelling and my understanding of characters. So that's the goal.
Mhm.
And then I guess making it short eventually good enough to where maybe you can adapt a feature out of it.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you, I mean, yeah, do you guys hope for collaborating again?
Whenever I'm back in LA for the summer, for winter break, 100%.
Yeah.
And hopefully beyond that, hopefully beyond college when we're both big time movie men.
Seriously, that's the eventual plan, is to be standing up on an Oscar stage together, but we'll see.
Hey, that's awesome. Oh, that's great. No, yeah, because I mean, I'm glad you guys are still sticking with the filmmaking thing, because I think a lot of people, they do film and they don't think of it as a career. It is a big jump, but it's a doable career. I think it's you just have to
Doable.
Yeah, it is a doable career. I mean, I have a bunch of friends who have come from, different all sorts of backgrounds, and they do it, and because what keeps them going is because they love it, and it's
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad you guys are still like thinking about what it's gonna be like in college, because I hope you guys still make stuff and and
Thank
stick
you.
around, because that's
We
pretty
hope so
cool.
too.
Sure.
Did you submit to, I don't know if this is a personal question, but did you guys submit other festivals, or is there going to be more to see your film elsewhere? Yeah.
Yeah, we spent time on Film Freeway looking at just like thinking about how many festivals we should submit to, which festivals we should submit to, and at the end we came upon like just a solid list of like maybe like I'm not like 10 to 15, and so yeah, we're hearing back from every couple of weeks. We hear back from another one, and just like EB Indie, we've been getting some positive results, which has been like amazing, and which we feel so happy and accomplished. And then we've also had some negative ones where we're not selected, and obviously that's fine too. Yeah, we're just
No, it's not.
but yeah, so yeah, I mean, hopefully you'll be seeing between the lines at other like at like winning some other festivals, but
Winning Sundance.
see, exactly, winning Sundance. But yeah, who knows?
Let's go. I'll see you in the cons,
Yeah.
Sundance, and Tribeca. I'll see your
All
names.
three.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All three, and Berlin.
Anything less is unacceptable.
I'll help. Yes.
Hopefully I'll see you there too.
Yeah. We'll
And
see.
Kevin.
All right, Kevin, do you have anything else before I turn on my video and expose my face again?
I think that pretty much covers everything. You guys are such a good pair, and like it's been so nice talking to you guys, and just like
Great time with you guys. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hold on. Let me see if I can
Good to see you again.
stop the recording.